Welcome to the newspaper review. I am your host, Fatu George. On today's standard newspaper headlines, UDP flag barrier aspirant queries application process. WAEC not commenting on withheld WAS results pending investigations. Pura announces temporary floor price to mobile data. 5 Jabang card drifters found guilty. BCC audit staff alleged offered $750,000 to cover up for mayor. Religious leaders told hate speech is not free speech. What is the fate of the parliamentary report on Rosier oil scandal? Now the news in detail. Prominent Gambian lawyer Lamin J. Dabo has confirmed to the Standard yesterday that he had intended to apply for the United Democratic Party UDP flag barrier position, but because of certain complicated conditions requiring applicants to renounce their dual citizenship within 14 days, the door is shut on him. On Sunday, the UDP announced it has opened the process of flag barrier selection for the 2026 presidential polls with some 15 months to go. In the Gambia electoral process, a presidential candidate cannot hold dual citizenship. The outspoken lawyer told the Standard yesterday that, in his case, a citizen of the United Kingdom of Great Britain and Northern Iran, the flag barrier application window of 14 days is too short for him to conclude the renunciation process, but according to Lamin J. Dabo, the renunciation requirement is unnecessary at this stage considering the elections are not until December 2026. The senior human rights advisor at the Police of the UN resident coordinator in the Gambia, Masara Kufa, has told religious leaders that hate speech is not protected as free speech when it constitutes advocacy of religious hatred that incites discrimination, hostility, or violence. The UN expert was addressing a maiden national conference on religion and hate speech at the Sadauda Kairaba Jawara International Conference Center recently. The conclave was part of the project strengthening the national infrastructure for peace to promote social cohesion in the Gambia, funded by the UN Peace Building Fund and implemented by UNESCO, UNDP, and the International Trade Center from 2023 to 2025. Masara Kufa further clarified that hate speech is neither protected nor is it covered under the right to freedom of expression. Mrs. Masara Kufa said when religious and traditional leaders speak out against hate, people listen. They are not only custodians of tradition and faith, they are also key actors in advancing reconciliation, social cohesion, and human dignity, Siri affirmed. According to the Ministry for Basic and Secondary Education, the results of about 631 candidates in the recent WAEC exam have been withheld by the regional exam body, West African Examinations Council, WAEC, for suspected malpractice. The ministry said a decision will be taken on the matter pending the outcome of WAEC's adjudication process. We actually don't know the cause of the seizures, but all we were told is about an alleged malpractice, an official of MBOPS told the Standard. Our reporter contacted WAEC about the nature of the suspected malpractice. An official at the council said there are different issues, the details of which he cannot give. The details you are looking for are confidential and I cannot reveal those to you. So we cannot go beyond what we give to MBOPS until all the investigations are completed, our source at WAEC said yesterday. The Chief of Staff at the Office of the President, Motke Siste, yesterday confirmed to the Standard that government has formally received the National Assembly's report on the Russian oil sale investigations. The investigation came after allegations that 3 companies, Apoji FZC, Ultimate BG Logistics, and Crete Energy Limited, imported about 36,936,614 metric tons of petroleum, evaded tax, and fled the country, with officials allegedly receiving bribes to look the other way. The matter was investigated by the Select Committee of the National Assembly, whose report and recommendations were adopted by the plenary and sent to government for action. When contacted, Chief of Staff Cisse said the executive have received the report and what we are required to do on the report we have done that, and we have reported back to the Parliament. The Public Utilities Regulatory Authority, PURA, has announced the introduction of a temporary floor price for mobile data services following a period of intensified tariff competition among mobile network operators. This measure is aimed at safeguarding the quality of telecommunication services in the country amidst a severe pricing crisis where data tariffs have plummeted to record lows, making them the cheapest in the world, the regulator said in a statement yesterday. The pricing war began with a prolonged tariff promotion by Comium in 2023, leading other major operators, Africell and QCell, to slash their prices even further. This aggressive competition has resulted in data packages being sold at unsustainably low prices, such as $5 for 500 megabytes. In its statement shared with the Standard yesterday, Pura said the regulatory intervention follows extensive monitoring of recent market developments in mobile data tariffs arising from aggressive price competing among MNOs. While this significant tariff reduction may benefit consumers in the short term, it has raised serious concerns regarding network quality, long-term sector sustainability, and the state's revenue collection. In sports, Gambian women's champions Berawuleng FC wrapped up their Wafu A CAF Women's Champions League qualifiers tournament with a dominant 4-1 victory over determined Girls FC of Liberia, and in the process clinched the bronze medal in the event. The Gambian champions dominated the game from the start, with Sarah Jaju opening the scoring after just 25 seconds on the clock, scoring with the fastest goal of the tournament to put Berawuleng in front. Nyima Sane restored Beres' lead after determined Girls FC leveled matters before Sarah Jaju came back to complete a brace, while Awake Dabo wrapped up the scoring with a beautiful solo goal. Berawuleng FC became the first Gambian side to finish on the podium after finishing third with 6 points behind second place. Moving on to the Voice newspaper headlines, government confirms arrest of former soldiers citing security implications. The Gambia, Senegal launch cross-border engagement meetings. Government launches $12.7 million project for Greater Banjul's climate resilience. National Assembly hears how Jane Commission Secretary reported to MOJ, not Commission. Sukuta drivers complain over poor roads, rising fuel costs. Philanthropist Turo Dabo launches life-saving surgical camp in Eshau. Beekeepers UNDP embark on tree planting in North Bank region. Now the news in detail. The National Assembly Select Committee probing the sale and disposal of assets identified by the Jane Commission on Monday heard testimony that exposed gaps in the Commission's administration, as its former secretary, Mrs. Ramatulai Sarr, admitted reporting to the Ministry of Justice instead of the Commission's leadership. Mrs. Sarr, who joined the Commission in 2017 on the instruction of then Attorney General Abubakar Tambedu, told lawmakers she had no formal appointment letter at the start. She later received a letter dated 9th July 2018 from the Solicitor General appointing her as Deputy Secretary, but insisted her duties remained largely administrative. The government of the Gambia has confirmed the arrest of Mr. Abdoulaye Sanyang, a former military officer of the Gambia National Army, citing significant security implications in remarks he made during a recent radio interview. According to government sources, Mr. Sanyang was arrested on the evening of Sunday, 17 August 2025, between 21 hours to 22 hours at the Banjul International Airport. The government said his arrest was carried out by airport security officials following information obtained through the flight manifest. It added that Mr. Sanyang was initially detained at the airport police station and subsequently handed over to the Criminal Intelligence and Interpol Bureau for routine background screening. Meanwhile, speaking to the Voice newspaper on Monday, the Police Public Relations Officer PRO, Cadet Modu Musa Sisao, also disclosed that Sanyang was arrested and placed in custody of the Gambia Police. When asked to ascertain if Sanyang was charged, PRO Sisao declined to comment further on that. He only promised to get back with the public when the need arose. The governments of the Gambia and Senegal officially launched a week-long cross-border engagement meeting at the Amdalai border crossing point. The initiative brings together national institutes, border agencies, and international partners to strengthen cooperation, promote integrated border management, and improve the safety and well-being of border communities. The meetings, jointly organized by the Center for Security Sector Governance, the International Organization for Migration, the Office of National Security, and the Senegalo-Gambian Permanent Secretary, will run from 18 to 21st August 2025. The meetings, co-organized by IOM, the Gambia and Senegal, are being hosted within the framework enhancing border management capacities of the Gambia to promote peace, stability and security, funded by Japan, and addressing the drivers and causes of vulnerability in migration among border communities along the Trans-Gambia Transport Corridor. Founded by the Migration Multi-Partner Trust Fund, both projects aim to contribute towards safe, orderly and regular migration through enhanced border governance capacities. The government of the Gambia has launched a landmark initiative aimed at strengthening the climate resilience of the Greater Banjul area. The Climate Resilient Banjul Enhancing Urban Resilience project, founded with $12.7 million from the Global Environment Facility, seeks to protect vulnerable communities and ecosystems against the escalating impacts of climate change, including flooding, sea level rise, and drought. Because of drivers playing along the Sukuta-Jabang traffic light highway are complaining over the poor condition of roads and the continuous rise in fuel prices. Speaking to this medium on Monday in an exclusive interview, driver Bambalai described the current state of the roads as a river, as pool of water covers some parts of the road. Any road you use today is muddy and congested. Drivers have to struggle through alternative routes to reach our destinations. It is hard and costly considering the fuel cost, he lamented. The roads have a lot of potholes that can damage our vehicle parts, which can create another problem. The rainy season is the most difficult time for drivers because the roads are in very bad condition. If you mistakenly enter a pothole, it can seriously damage your vehicle. Each part, if damaged, costs a lot to repair, he explained. Another driver, Matar Jallo, reiterated the poor condition of the roads, saying many drivers have abandoned the Sukuta highway because of potholes and mud. He urged the government and the National Roads Authority to fix the highway as soon as possible, warning that otherwise both drivers and passengers will continue to face hardship. In a bold demonstration of his commitment to healthcare in the Gambia, philanthropist Momodou Touro Dabo officially launched a life-saving surgical camp in Essau on Monday. Mr. Touro Dabo, the CEO of Vision Development Foundation, is running the initiative in collaboration with Dr. Alhaji Mane International Charitable Surgical Foundation. The surgical camp is made possible through Dabo's $400,000 donation to Alhaji Mane International Charitable Surgical Foundation and aims to provide free surgeries for 100 patients, helping to reduce the country's growing surgical backlog. According to sources, the Essau camp follows two previous camps sponsored by Dabo, which together provided critical operations for 181 patients. During the event, Dabo reaffirmed his pledge to continue supporting individuals who cannot afford the high cost of surgical operations. He also announced that the next camp will be held at Farafenni General Hospital, expanding the foundation's reach and impact. Spain has sent 500 more troops to fight raging wildfires, bringing the total deployed to 1,900 as the death toll from the blaze has risen to 4. On Sunday, a firefighter died after an accident during firefighting efforts when his truck fell down a steep hill, the Castile and Leon regional government said. Spain's Prime Minister Pedro expressed sadness and dissolution on X at the latest death. In neighboring Portugal, where fires are also blazing, another firefighter was killed on Sunday in tragic traffic accident, President Marcelo de Sousa said. Fires have also broken out in Greece, France, Turkey, and the Balkans as a heatwave has scorched swathes of southern Europe. In sports, Mustafa Fofana's decisive goal-sealed Super Cup victory for Campbelltown FC, last year's Serekunda West Sports Organisation League champions, following a thrilling clash against Josuang City on Sunday. The Super Cup match pitted Campbelltown FC, winners of the SWESO League, against Josuang City, victors of the Knockout Cup. In a highly anticipated encounter, both sides came into the match determined to claim the prestigious trophy and register the first win of the season. The first half ended goalless as both teams struggled to break through the opposing defense. In the second half, Josuang City began secondly but failed to capitalize on their chances. Campbelltown FC gradually imposed themselves on the game, creating several goal-scoring opportunities. The hard breakthrough finally came when Mustafa Fofana skillfully slotted the ball into the back of the net, scoring the Super Cup for Campbelltown FC and inciting celebrations among their fans. The victory marks another milestone for Campbelltown FC and sets the tone for their upcoming season in the SWESO Nawetan League. Now to the point newspaper headline. Salam CEO declares intention to run for GCCI presidency. UDP calls for maximum fines, custodial sentencing for drifters. Una Group fuels agri revolution with big investment. Japanese Prime Minister dips 2025 as Year of Africa. Now the news in detail. The Chief Executive Officer CEO of Salam Financial Services, formerly Supersonic Microfinance, Ndugu Fati, has announced he will contest for the position of presidency of the forthcoming Gambia Chamber of Commerce and Industry GCCI election, scheduled to take part 5th September 2025. He made this disclosure over the weekend at his office ahead of the forthcoming GCCI general election. 2025 is a year of election for the Gambia Chamber of Commerce and Industry to carefully elect democratically potential candidates who will run the affairs of the chamber in the next 3 years, he said while hailing the outgoing president for the achievements registered. According to him, Mr. Idimas Job, the outgoing president of GCCI, had registered unprecedented achievements for the chamber due to his quality leadership and experience in the business industry. Mr. Fati co-founded 2 Gambian companies, Lasting Solution Limited, employing some 35 employees, and Salam Financial Services Limited, employing over 180 people. Tributes across the nation and beyond are pouring the demise of Ahmed Omar Bensouda, the father of Mayor Bensouda. Ahmed Omar Bensouda has passed away on Monday. Hassan Jibril, Bensouda's former classmate and friend, said he had pursued his passions with dedication and perseverance, especially within the civil service, both at the Ministry of Finance and at the President's office, achieving great things in his personal and professional life and rising up to the top level of permanent secretary. In so being, his love for his family, friends, colleagues, and community was also undeniably unwavering, and his contributions to society will thus continue to be deeply missed. The United Democratic Party UDP says it's deeply concerned while condemning what it called dangerous and reckless drifting activities being carried out in the Greater Banjul area by a group of youths. The UDP therefore, in a press release, called on the National Assembly to pass stringent laws introducing high minimum fines and mandatory custodial sentences for drifting offences. The release reads below. The United Democratic Party UDP expresses its deep concern and condemnation over the dangerous and reckless drifting activities being carried out in a Greater Banjul area by a group of youths calling themselves the so-called outlaws. This lawless behavior is not only risking the lives of the very youths involved, but it also poses a grave danger to the general public and property. Innocent people have already lost their lives and several have sustained serious injuries due to the recklessness of these drivers, many of whom do not even possess a valid driver's license. Disturbingly, some of these drifters are minors, yet they are allowed to take control over powerful vehicles and endanger lives with impunity. The UDP is dismayed that the Barrow government has failed to take decisive action to put an end to this menace. Instead of enforcing the law and protecting the lives of Gambians, the authorities continue to turn a blind eye. The majority of these offenders are reported to come from affluent families, a factor that has led to police inaction and lenient court penalties. Those few who are arrested are often released with insignificant fines that do little to deter repeat offenses. This must stop. Enough is enough. Mohamed Manjang, the chairman of the board of directors of Una Group, has reaffirmed its commitment to transforming Gambia's agricultural sector through a landmark investment in mechanization, co-financing 50% of the cost of 90 tractors recently distributed to farmers across the country. Speaking at the tractors distribution function held at State House in Banjul, Manjang described the initiative as a strategic partnership in national development, not merely a business transaction. He added prosperous farmers need services. They purchase for goods from local shops, hired construction workers, send children to school, and invest in business that serve their communities. This mechanization will generate employment for mechanics, traders, transporters, shop owners, and young entrepreneurs establishing service businesses. In sports, the 2025 Brikama Super Cup final is slated for Sunday, 31st August 2025 at the Brikama Box Bar Mini Stadium at 4 p.m. The much-awaited final will feature Kabafita United FC and Manduar FC. The final is described by many football lovers in Brikama and its environs as a crunch class. The final is expected to attract spectators from West Coast region and other parts of the Gambia. Kabafita United FC and Manduar FC won the league and knockout trophies in Brikama last season. The draw will contend to beat each other to lift the 2025 Brikama Super Cup final. The Super Cup final marked the curtain raiser of the 2025-2026 Brikama Nawetan season. Moving on to the foreign newspaper headlines, all Jabang drifters plead guilty to charges. Magistrate to deliver verdict on Wednesday. Sports resumes at Manjai football field after MOU agreement. Man charged for possession of restricted medicines. GNPC clerk admits stealing more than $1 million. Now the news in detail. 5 young men accused in what has become known as the Jabang Drifters case have pleaded guilty to multiple charges of reckless driving and related offences. Magistrate Aissatou Jallow of the Bursubi Court has convicted them and is expected to deliver sentencing on Wednesday, August 20th, 2025. After months of tension between the Manjai Sports Association Committee and local community members over the use of the Manjai football field, sports activities are set to resume on Tuesday, August 19, 2025, following the signing of a Memorandum of Understanding that formalizes the terms of access and management. The MOU, signed on Saturday in the presence of senior officials including the Director of the State Intelligence Services (SIS), the Inspector General of Police (IGP), the Kanifing Municipal Police Commissioner, and representatives from the Ministry of Youth and Sports, allows the Sports Committee to continue using the facilities until the end of their current term, which is scheduled for November 2025. According to insiders, the agreement also ensures that the community will receive 20% of all revenues collected from the football field during the period. Following extensive negotiations at the coordinator's office, we have had a memorandum of understanding to allow the committee or association to use the facilities until the end of their current term, a source in Manjai explained. The committee has promised to hand over everything to the community after the expiry of their term. This is why we give them the green light to start. Everything has been signed. Abdoulaye Job, a Gambian man in his early 30s, appeared on Monday, August 18 before Magistrate I. Jallow of the Bursubi Court on charges of possessing restricted medicines without lawful permission. The prosecuting officer, Inspector Fai, presented the case. Mr. Job, who was unpresented, accepted the charge after it was read to him in court and pleaded guilty. Magistrate Jallow then entered the plea of guilty on his behalf. The statement of offense reads, found in possession of restricted medicines without lawful authority, contrary to Section 59(1)(e) of the Medicines and Related Product Act 2014. According to the particulars of the offense, on June 26, 2025, at Old Yundum in Combo North, West Coast Region, Mr. Job was found in possession of medicines on unauthorized premises and without a license, thereby committing an offense under the law. The matter has been adjourned to August 25, 2025 for presentation of facts by Inspector Fai. A clerk of the Gambia National Petroleum Company Limited, GNPC, identified as Usman Jame, appeared on Monday, August 18 before Magistrate Aissatou Jallow of the Bursubi Court on charges of stealing $1,162,607. The accused pleaded guilty to the charge. The charge was filed by Inspector Lamin Jame on behalf of the Inspector General of Police. The accused was not represented by any legal counsel. When the clerk of the court read out the charges, Mr. Jammeh admitted to the allegations and confirmed his guilty plea. Magistrate Jallow then entered the plea of guilty on behalf of the accused. The statement of offense read, stealing by clerk or servant contrary to Section 233 of the Criminal Offence Act 2025. The particulars of the offense state that on December 19, 2024 at Burswi, Combo North, West Coast Region, Mr. Jammeh, being an employee of GNPC, stole the sum of $1 million, $162,607, the property of GNPC, thereby committing the offense. The case has been adjourned to Wednesday, August 28th for further narration of facts by the prosecution and sentencing by the magistrate. This is all we have for you in our today's newspaper review. Do stay tuned for more newspaper review. I remain your host, Fatu George.